What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Airflow podcast. I'm your host, Ricky Thomas, where we don't chase purpose, we align with it. So I'm excited to be back with part 4 of our manifestation series or manifestation rewritten series. And today we're going to focus on unlocking the power most people skip, which is emotion. So we've talked about in the first 3 episodes, we dreamed it, we shifted our ceiling so that way we're not, we're raising the bar. In the second episode, we cleared out all the noise, the static in the last episode. This time it's time to feel it and feel it real. So our focus is really going to be the emotion, which is, I think people lose that a lot when it comes to manifesting what you truly desire. And understand that thoughts are seeds, but feelings are what waters the ground. So you don't manifest what you think, you manifest what you feel consistently. And that consistent feeling is what drives the manifestation. So as always, you know me, this series and how I've done things with most of my titles, they're always an acronym for words. And I know I explain it every time, but it's just me. So this episode is called Feel It Real, the manifestation most people skip. And FEEL, of course, is an acronym. So we're going to go through the different segments, the different parts of FEEL broken out by the letters in the word. And I pray that you guys get something out of it. So we'll go through this. We'll have some exercises that I really want to make sure that we drive towards, just to kind of elaborate a little bit more and activate this important part of manifestation. So as we move forward and we think about F, and for us, F is going to be focus inward. And one thing to think about as we talk about focusing inward is your future isn't out there, it's in here, it's inside of you. So a lot of people think, they talk about, my future, I'm going to go chase my future, I'm going to go chase, you're chasing, but you don't understand that before you can go and get it, you've got to know that it's already in you. And that's a huge piece about it. Most people, they'll try to manifest externally without checking their internal state. And that is a huge mishap. And it's a misunderstanding to really understand how to manifest. Manifestation doesn't start on paper or Pinterest. It starts in your inner world. We can go out there and how many of us has gone, we've looked up things. And I think I talked about it before, we can do a vision board. We can say, this is the body we want. This is the amount of money we want to have. This is the peace, the health. This is all the things that we want, right? And we make it look real pretty and it looks believable on the outside, but we don't have it inside. We don't fully believe it ourselves internally, And so think about this. And here's something to really tie into it. What does peace feel like in your body? People say they want peace, right? What does peace feel like? How do you think you would feel if you say, well, a lot of people say, I just want peace. What does it feel like? What does overflow feel like in your chest? Can you find it before the physical result shows up? And that is it sounds so simplistic, but I guarantee you this is not an easy thing, but this is an important step to manifestation. Neville Goddard, who I've mentioned, is one of the key pieces to really driving this series of manifestation through me reading his books. He mentioned that our inner world is the only creative power. And he taught that over and over again. Your inner world is the only creative power. So you think about it, if you're not tapping into that creative power, then how are you manifesting the things that you truly want and desire? So it's very, very important for us to stick to that and understand, that we've got to focus inward. You don't start a weight loss journey until you make it up in your mind. You physically, not just physically, you get tired, you look at yourself, or you desire the certain way to look, but it doesn't happen until you formulate that internally. you emotionally see yourself, how you would look, how you would feel in those emotions, how that confidence will come in, how you would how you would see yourself wearing the outfit that you want to wear, or not having to wear bigger clothes to cover up certain body parts because you were afraid of them, all those things that a lot of people deal with. Feel what the emotion, what it feels like to be embarrassed, what it feels like to have anxieties about going out or wearing certain things. But think of the opposite. Think of what you really, how would you feel if you hit that mark? And that's what we talked about before, of living from the end. So that's going to be F, focus inward. The first E that we talk about is evoke the emotion. If you can feel it now, you can live it next. I'm going to say that again. If you can feel it now, you can live it next. And that's powerful. It's a small statement, but it's really powerful. Can you allow yourself to feel in the present time something that may not be manifested in the present? It's not manifested right now, but can you feel that feeling now? So then the next step, you can live it. If it's health, if it's wealth, if it's peace, if it's joy, if it's, being married, if it, whatever it is that you desire to manifest, can you feel like you have it right now? Because understand, desire alone, it isn't enough. We've got to create that emotional signature of the outcome now. What is the, what is that feeling today? I don't want to wait to the end, and then say, I can't wait till I get to this point so I can experience experience the feeling now. And something that I found through looking at this, and it makes sense, and I believe it 100%. So your body believes feelings, not words. Your body believes feelings, not words. People can say a lot, and that may not drive your body. People will say certain things, and those words hurt. But what really drives what drives your body is your feelings. If you're stressed out, how does your body react? When you're stressed, when you're, you know, they have a lot of times they say cancer is linked to stress, heart failure. Yeah, you can do things to eat and drink and all that, but sometimes people can be healthy, but because of the emotional or the feelings that they have, it can drive them to be unhealthy. Your body reacts to those feelings and emotions, not the words. So when we talk about evoke the emotions, and I want to focus on the positive, right? Because I think most of us, if not all of us, we know the impact that negative emotion does. We know the impact of if people feel like they're broke. We know the impact of being alone. We know the impact of being sick. We know the impact and the emotion from, not being connected to a higher, or not feeling connected to a higher power, to feeling connected with God. But let's think about it. Feel the safety of having, and for some people this may be a small amount, for some people this is a large amount, but let's just for the sake of this, feel the safety of having $20,000 in the bank. For some, it may be $200,000 in the bank. For some, it may be $2 million in the bank. Wherever you're at, locate what that number is. If you've never seen $20,000 sitting in your bank account, like, feel the safety of having that. If you live in check to check, and I pray right now that there's nobody that lives check to check, or after you go through this and feel this word and experience this series, that you'll never live check to check ever again. But feel that safety of having that much money in the bank, 20,000, 10,000, 100,000, whatever that is. And if it's not money, feel the love of a joyful relationship. You know the emotion of feeling alone or being in an abusive relationship or being in a bare, unfruitful relationship. But feel the love of a joyful relationship where you're happy to see that person. You want to work hard at making things work, and it's reciprocated. Feel that love, embrace it, because that's what it's going to take. Feel the strength of healing. So many times, a lot of us, and it's not on purpose, but we sit in hurt, physical pain, mental pain, whatever. We sit there in it, and we just accept it as part of our daily lives. But just think about just the strength of healing. Just feel it. That body part continues to be in pain. Headaches continue to happen. You don't feel in the moment very well, but can you separate yourself just to focus on just the strength of healing? This is what great would feel like, and just for a moment escape outside of the confines of your physical being and just focus on the emotion of, and you have to be intentional of feeling healthy or feel the presence of the divine connection with God. So many of us seek for higher or research for higher power. We're seeking a higher power to connect with. And God is waiting for that moment of just, again, where he's a God of free will. He's not going to force us. Seek him and then allow yourself to feel the presence. Feel God feeling you with his spirit and allow that to permeate through you, through your emotions, how you feel protected, how you feel secure, how you feel like everything is okay, because it is. In God's presence, he does not let his children suffer, but feel that. So here's a quick exercise I want everybody to do before we move on to the next letter. But close your eyes for a second. Just close your eyes and smile like whatever it is has already happened. Breathe into the joy and just let your body remember how that feels. For some, if you had a time in your life where money was never an object, or you were in a great relationship, or you felt physically at your peak, you felt in tip top shape, or you felt so close to God, remember those times, bring those times back up. And if you've never experienced, think of how you would feel if once these things happen. Let your body remember it. And that's going to be key. And you've got to keep reciprocating that feeling over and over again. Keep recycling it. All right. Let's move on to the next E. And the next E is embody the outcome. A good way to think about this one is embodying the outcome is don't just visualize it, become it. Don't just visualize it, become it. Again, it's easy to think, and again, visuals are great. Visuals are great. Affirmations are great. Saying it out, reading it, looking at pictures and images of it are great. But you have to become it. So what does that mean? We manifest from identity, not from fantasy. See, even dreaming things are good, but a lot of times we'll dream something, we'll wake up and be like, man, that was great. But you really don't feel like that's for you. You don't really embody it necessarily. It's like, man, that was a great feeling. Like, I imagine that. But again, understanding that you manifest from identity, not from fantasy. Who are you being while you wait? And that is interesting. Are you being hypocritical of yourself or self-sabotaging while you're waiting to become what it is that you desire? So what's your identity? You wake up every day and you're like, I'm rich. I'm rich. You got quotes and scriptures and affirmations about having money. But then your identity is to be broke in ways that in things that you say, things that you do. And we can all think of a lot of different things that we tend to do that is so subtle. It's so subtle. Some people say, well, I'm just being frugal with my money. If money wasn't an object, and I'm gonna test some people. If money wasn't an object, and I joke around about this myself, so again, I have my hand raised. If money wasn't an object, when you go to the store and you buy, a pack of, let's just say, hamburger, there's one pack that's $20.55. There's another pack that's $21.23. How many of us would just go grab the $20.55 one because it's a little bit cheaper, a tad bit cheaper? Well, we'll go get that one. And people will say, "Oh, that's just cost savings." But if money wasn't an object, would you sacrifice or would you make that decision? Simple things, and I mean, we all do it. My wife and I talk about this. We will do everything. We'll say we're rich, and it's an evolution for us too in manifesting this. We'll talk about being rich, we're wealthy, all those great things. We'll buy the kids whenever the kids need something. We will make sure it's done. Clothes, shoes, whatever they need it, they got it. Because we want to make sure they got everything they need. But when it comes down to little things for us, we'll wait till we get paid more. Like, I need to get some more clothes. I'll wait. Need to get some shoes. I'll wait. Underwear. I'll wait. Why? Why do we do that? Why are we waiting? And sometimes it's not the physical thing of purchasing, because you may not physically have the money in your account today. But what are you speaking? If it's like, no, I don't want to do that because, that's expensive. You want to go on a cruise. Well, I like that cruise. So why don't you want to go? Oh, it's pricey. But you're trying to manifest something. Why would you speak down on you don't want to go because it's pricey? And most people want to do it, but they want to condition themselves to not believe that they or not want to go because they don't want to get their hopes up and feel disappointed if they can't go on that cruise or they can't take that trip or they can't um, get whatever it is. They want it, but they don't want to feel the emotion that comes behind it. And that's the difference in embodying the outcome. So here's some action points on that. Dress like it's done. Speak like it's yours. Plan like it's guaranteed. And move like it's manifested. See, it's actionable things. You may not have what you're desiring or what you're trying to manifest, but it doesn't mean you got to wait. It doesn't mean that you can't act like you are a millionaire, billionaire. You can't act like, you're the healthiest person in the world. Are you going to wait until, are you going to wait until, you reach a certain weight before you start eating the proper way? No. So, who are you? Even taking small steps. but start to build and embody who it is that you want to become. So don't just visualize it, become it. And just understand, as part of, this whole podcast, this airflow, you are an heir, not a guest. So show up like you belong in the blessing. And for some people, that's going to be a key to unlocking it, because you belong. You can't call yourself an heir and not show up like you belong. If you go to your parents' house, for those that parents are still alive, do you walk in the house, especially if it's the house you grew up in? Do you walk in the house and feel like a guest? Do you walk in the house and feel like a stranger? This is the house you grew up in. Most of the time, you're going to walk in feeling like you're part of that. You belong there. You'll question why other people are in your parents' house, but you're not going to question why you're there. It's the same thing. You're an heir. You are not a guest in this. You belong as part of the blessing and everything that comes with it. And the last, and definitely not least, and probably one of the most important pieces of this, is the L is live from the end. And this is probably one of the most powerful principles that Neville Goddard has shared out of all of them. Live from the end. And simply, it's just, you don't wish for the thing. You live as if it's already done. And I mean, this is, if you want to say what's the basis of manifestation, it is this. You live from the end. One of the things that I mentioned, Brian Scott, who does a lot of podcasting and a lot of manifestation series podcast. He mentioned that the subconscious only moves when the identity has changed. So right now, in your current state today, your subconscious believes, or it behaves as if you are today. It only understands based off of who you identify with, and then that's what creates the world that's around you. So how you view the world, how you maneuver in the world, how things are manifested in your world is based off of your subconscious. And it's based off the identity you have today. So I'll go back to some of the things that I've mentioned before, but one of the things that, if you think about it from that perspective around the subconscious and identity, again, if you constantly speak broke, if you constantly speak, I never have enough, if you constantly speak, I'm not good enough, or you believe you're not good enough for this relationship, if you say and believe that you will always be passed up for that promotion, and you are disappointed because you never get promoted, it's because you believe that and you speak it. You don't truly embody having that role within the company. If you say that everywhere I go, I never get the opportunity to promote. If you say that I'm the best worker around, but they're always going to pass me up just because it always happens to me. If you say that people always mistreat me, and you have that expectation of being mistreated, your subconscious is going to take that as your identity, and it's going to always present those things, whether it's family, whether it's people out in public. If you say that I'm terrible at interviewing, or I always have difficult interviews, 9 times out of 10 you're going to have a difficult interview, because you're identifying as those things. So going back to what Brian Scott mentioned, the subconscious only moves when the identity is changed. So when you change your identity, and that can be good or bad, You may think that what you're living in today is not ideal, but it can be worse and it can be a whole lot better. But it's just how you identify yourself. So let me ask you all this. What's one area where you're still waiting instead of walking? I'm going to ask that again. What's one area where you're still waiting instead of walking? Identity is a lot. Identity doesn't mean that I'm already at that place. You can say that I am healthy and I may still need to lose 50 pounds. But just the living that I am the weight that I want to be. I want to be, I want to be down to, 100 whatever pounds. You may be 200 pounds, you want to get to the 100-pound mark. You're living like that. How am I living that? I'm getting up, walking every day. I may not lift a weight, but I'm getting up and getting steps in. I'm walking, I'm exercising, I'm getting that blood flow. I may not have the money that I desire in my bank account, but I'm making plans and I'm emotionally I'm seeing how I can do things and maneuver having that money in my account. I may not have the vehicle that I desire, but I go and I test drive it. I try out all the different, models. I sit down in it, take a picture in it, play with the features inside the car. Understand even knowing what the cost is. Okay, I want a debt-free vehicle. I want this vehicle. Sometimes it's just walking in it. And that's just going to do that part. Some of us are afraid to do that. We're afraid to even see ourselves in it, take a picture in it because we're embarrassed about, well, what's the salesperson going to say? Or what are people going to say about me going and doing that? I've shared this before. I told my daughter, there's a vehicle that she desires. And I was like, okay, go sit in it, go test drive it. Don't be afraid. When you feel like you need to go be around that thing to stay connected with, the vision that you want to manifest, go to it. The school she wants to go to, that she is going to, go to campus, walk around. You have to feel like you belong. You have to feel like you deserve it. And you've got to understand that it is yours. It's already done. So now you don't need permission to go down and sit in the car. You don't need permission to, go look at the house that you desire. You don't need permission to get up and go walk and wait for something external to happen. You can do it now. You can walk every day like I'm already healthy. This is just getting my journey going. You don't have to wait for God to do something to you that you assume and God will never do, but you don't have to wait for some catastrophe to happen for you to connect with God. You just talk to him. You don't wish for the thing, you live as if it's already done. And that is so important. So as we look to kind of move forward and close out this episode, there's a few things that I want to make sure that everybody sort of understands. And I want to walk you through the visualization again. Focus inward. Evoke the core emotion. What is that core emotion that is tied to how you would feel when the thing you desire manifests? And once you drive that emotion, if it's smiles, if it's just this feeling of, you're about to, you're just bubbling inside, you just feel this great amount of joy, or if it's just a weight off of you, or if it's a pain-free experience, evoke that emotion that comes with that. It may make you cry because it's like, oh my goodness, this is what I've been wanting. But whatever that emotion is, evoke that. And then embody the energy that comes from that. Because you take that, bottle it up, and continue to practice it over and over again to where now you're getting to the last part, which is living from the end. And that is really where you get to driving and feeling what it is that you desire, how you want to live, how you want to feel, how you want to do things. So here's, I don't want to call it, I don't know if it's an affirmation, maybe it's a mantra, but here's something just to close out that I want everybody to practice. And just say it to yourself over and over again. I feel it now. I become it now. I live it now. And what I live now, I receive next. I'll say that one more time. I feel it now. I become it now. I live it now. And what I live now, I receive next. So as we close out, here's a challenge that I want to put out to everybody, and just take a little bit of time, but just pick one goal. I want you to pick one goal, and whatever that goal is, and remember what I said before, be very specific about it, but pick one goal, write it down, and then write down the emotion it will bring. And once you do that, practice embodying that emotion daily. Again, pick a goal, write down the goal, and then write down the emotion that achieving that or manifesting that would bring. Then every day, look at it, think of the emotion, live it out from the end, and then practice it every day. Practice it. And if you desire it, you follow us, follow me on socials, and we'll talk about this as we close this out, but share it. Share the feel moment. This week, I'm living from the end by feeling whatever that is. Tag Airflow Podcast on it. Okay. So again, understand a couple points. Thoughts start the process, but feelings activate it. You think it, your feelings activate it. And then once you do that, your body understands their body has to experience it before your life reflects it. That's the feeling part. That's the activation. Now I'm experiencing the emotions that come behind it. And like I mentioned before, once you start feeling it, now that evokes the subconscious to move and shift things, and then your life will start reflecting it. And that's very important. So thank y'all for listening. I want to just talk a little bit about our next episode. So next week, we're going to talk about the guilt that stops the flow. So episode 5 is called Guilt-Free Abundance. And of course, guilt is an acronym, and we'll talk about it in that episode. But the mindset is it's not greedy to grow when God gave you the green light. And just think about that. How many times do we feel like it's greedy to want more? It's greedy for us to want abundance. But God's already given that to us. Right? So as we close out, I just want to make sure that everybody's understanding that you're not just thinking about your future. You're feeling it now. You're not just hoping, you're becoming. And as always, stay aligned, stay anchored, and keep flowing in everything that God has planned for your life. I love you guys. God bless.